Dean Johnson, one more time.
Whoa. Am I on?
Not yet.
Oh,
There you go.
hello. Well, it's, thank you. Thank you. Oh, okay. All right. Good. Okay. Well, thanks for being here. Are you here? I can't see a thing. Oh, I'm so glad there's people out there. I like a small group, but this sounds pretty. I started out doing comedy door to door. First, people don't care for it, but once you get in the living room, get the microphone set up, get started. I thought I'd start with a song. You know, I used to do comedy, and now I just sit in the house, you know, like everybody does. And I don't really do comedy anymore, but I thought I would just try to talk about when I used to do it, you know, because I can't really remember. But I traveled around. I went all around the country, and I went to, some of the places I went to would have interesting things to see, and I wrote songs about them. And I went to the town of Darwin, Minnesota. Now, does anybody here know the world-class attraction, really, that they have in Darwin, Minnesota?
The ball of twine!
Well, yes, right, the world's largest ball of twine. It's are you familiar with that?
Yeah.
Anyway, you can go there and you can see this ball of twine, and it's big. It's the world's largest ball of twine, and it's in its own little building there. It's in the town park in Darwin. You can see the twine. It's free. You can get souvenirs about the ball of twine. Twine Ball Souvenir Shop. They had the Twine Ball Inn there, and Twine Ball Days Festival. And so I thought, well, it's time I made a song about the ball of twine. It goes like this. In Darwin, Minnesota, not very far away, a farmer was a-bundling and a-baling up some hay. He said, this piece of string is mine, I cannot waste a dime. I'm gonna save it all, someday I'll have a ball. It's the world's largest twine ball in the whole darn USA. It's the world's biggest ball of twine. Oh, what more can I say? Well, I could say a lot more, but I'd just be stringing you along. Well, he saved the twine, he took his time, and he watched the twine ball grow. They've had to build a building now to keep it from the snow. And people come from everywhere just to see the twine. And the folks who sell the souvenirs think that that's just fine. It's the world's largest twine ball in the whole darn USA. It's the world's biggest ball of twine. What more can I say? You can buy a twine ball shot glass and a twine ball coffee cup. You own a little miniature twine ball, they'll be glad to make one up. You can buy a twine ball bookmark and a twine ball pencil too. You can buy all the twine ball stuff you want, it's between your bank and you. It's the world's largest ball of twine. I improvised that part. What more can I say? Twine ball, beer glass, twine ball, shot glass, twine ball, coffee cup, twine ball, bat, twine ball this, twine ball that, twine ball calendar, twine ball poster, twine ball coaster, twine ball. Ow! Thank you very much. This is the most fun I've had in a long time. I love to do comedy, even if it doesn't go well. I still enjoy, just, I don't remember what I enjoy. I forgot that part of my act. Along with the whole rest of the whole thing, I'm just going to have to make up a whole new thing now. It's time to talk about things about the pandemic, but what's there to say that hasn't been said? I tried to think up, though, the nice things about it. Now, the best thing about it was wearing the mask to the bank. Something I always wanted to do, chalk that off the bucket list. The other great thing about wearing the mask, you don't have to have your dentures with you. I am undoubtedly the oldest person in the building now, and I'm glad to be here. This building, and this used to be where Dudley Riggs Comedy Theater was for many years. And there were, if you think about it, this place has a lot of comedy history. There were shows in here almost every night, comedy shows for about 60 years or more. And some of the great comedians, Joan Rivers, Richard Pryor, George Carlin, they all refused to work here. It's quite a history. Yeah. I have to stop and try to think every once in a while because, as I say, I haven't said anything funny in probably my whole life, but I didn't actually notice it as much as I do when I'm standing in front of an invisible audience. But I can hear you, so I'm glad. I'm glad I'm here. This is a nice place. I'm surprised I'm here. But it's great to be here, or anywhere. I've reached that point. I looked at the weather map the other day, and because it was raining, and it showed all the places in Minnesota that it was raining, all these little towns. And I realized that I had been to all of them and done comedy shows in all those towns. And I recognized their names, all the names of the little towns. And then I realized that I had no recollection other than that I heard the name. No memory of ever being there or what I did there. They say traveling is something that you should value because nobody can take that away from you. Except that I can't remember having done any of it. But that's the way life is. Would you like to hear another song? This is a fundraiser, and this is the longest fundraiser I've ever been involved in. I've been involved in quite a few of them over time, but this is the longest one with the most acts. But I was in one a few years ago, and they had all kinds of acts on that one. And I had worked for the guy that set it up before, and if I do say so myself, I had good shows, And so he decided that he would put me on the show last to close out with a big bang. But he also decided that just before he put me on, he put on a team of belly dancers. Now, if you're an elderly man with a ukulele, and you have to go on after a team of belly dancers, you find out that the show was a long time over before you got on, And so I made up a song about it. story by taking a pause. Who starts with a pause? Samuel Beckett would do that. Right? I'd like to start my story by taking a pause to remember the night I did the show without any laughs or applause. If you want to know the reason, here's the answer. They put me on the show right after the belly dancer. Now there's one thing that you should know if you're a ukulele player on the show. Don't follow the belly dancer. Follow the juggler. Follow the mind. Sing with the band. Get a great big hand, but don't follow the belly dancer. She's dressed in gold, dressed in red. She can balance a sword on the top of her head. But Fred, don't follow the belly dancer. Oh, don't follow her up the stairs. Don't follow her down the hall. I'm telling you, buddy, my best advice, don't follow her at all. Don't follow her, don't follow her at all. Oh, gee, I love an applause like that. That reminded me of my old high school sports career. I can still hear the crowd calling my name. Throw the ball to Dean. Throw the ball to Dean. Throw the ball to Dean. Right after that, I was injured and had to quit the bowling team. Not as tough as I look. I joined one of those health clubs. It's the budget health club. I notice when I get off the exercise cycle, the lights get dim. I finally got recognized as a comedian there, though. In the shower, guys were pointing and laughing. I felt good about it. I'm surprised. I didn't remember that I knew those jokes, and then suddenly they come up. It's a strange mental process. Getting old, becoming senile. Of course, you get a chance to work in the nursing homes, which is actually very nice. I have entertained in nursing homes before. I'm not bragging, but I have, and it's rewarding, and especially if you go to the memory care unit, it's actually pretty easy. You only got to know a couple of jokes. You can just do the same ones over and over. Works out pretty well. Gosh, this is nice. I like the small, intimate group. It reminds me of my family, you know. Of course, I've got kind of a weird family in some ways, you could say. For one thing, they're all dead. But my father, now there was a guy, I remember him, he would give me advice. He said, son, don't put your money in an IRA account. Those Irish will spend it on weapons. That was my dad. Oh, by the way, look at these shoes. Do you like these shoes? I like them. Yeah. I like wearing these when I do a comedy show. You're not going to believe this, but these are the same shoes that I wore when I was in the 6th grade. Really, I came home from school one day and I said, Dad, I have the biggest feet of any kid in the 6th grade. Is that because we're Swedish? She said, no, son, that's because you're 17 years old. My sister's the weirdest one in the family. She's got a hobby. She reads the obituaries in the newspaper, then crosses out the names in the phone book. Never loses track of anybody. I'm so glad you're laughing, because otherwise it's a really long act. I used to make, I'm making mistakes tonight, but I used to make, when you start trying to be a comedian, you just have to make mistakes. And I made every mistake that you could possibly make. I used to do impressions, which were embarrassing. Like I would do this one. Hey, you guys, let's play some football. It's a kid from my hometown. See, I found out it's better if you do impressions of somebody that everybody knows and recognizes, more like this one. Night manager at Denny's. That way people know what you're talking about. How long have I been here? Not that I mind. I'm just thinking about my car out on the street. But it's dangerous out there now. Just being parked somewhere is dangerous. Everything is dangerous, I was driving down the street, and my car started to shake and vibrate, and it had this terrible sound, boom, 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 boom. Turned out it was a stereo in the car in the next lane. I'm going to sing another song. Oh, you're very kind. This is the first song I wrote when I first came to Minneapolis. I wasn't trying to be funny, really. I was just telling the story of my life. Because you talk about making mistakes. I used to wait on the wrong side of the street for the bus. That'll take you in the wrong direction, Trying to go downtown Minneapolis to apply for a job, wound up in Hopkins. Anyway, I did a lot of things like that. Here's a song about it called New in Town. I went walking through the town, hands in my pockets and my head hung down. Took a wrong bus to the wrong part of town. Never got home until the sun went down. And the buses and the taxis and the railroad trains, Big Mac trucks changing lanes. The police car's just been called out. His siren is a blowing my poor brains out. Pardon me, miss, I did not know I was standing on your toe. My face turned as white as snow, and the little old lady told me where to go. And the buses and the taxis and the railroad trains, Big Mac trucks changing lanes. A police car just been called out. His siren is a blowing my poor brains out. That's how it is when you're new in town. You gotta try to smile when you only want to frown. People seem to treat you like you're some kind of clown, and you can't get away from the terrible sound of the buses and the taxis and the railroad trains, Big Mac trucks changing lanes. A police car just been called out. His siren is a blowing my poor brains out. Yeah. Thank you. Yeah. Would you like to hear some jokes? Two guys are building a house. This is a Minnesota-style joke from my grandfather's era. Two guys building a house, Sven and Ole. Sven climbs to the top of a ladder, takes a nail out of his nail apron, looks at it, throws it away, brings out another nail, pounds it in. Tonk, tonk, tonk. Next nail, throws it over his shoulder, brings out another one, pounds it in. Tonk, tonk, tonk. Every other one, he throws it away. His buddy Ole down on the ground says, Sven, you darn fool, half the nails you're throwing away. He says, those nails are no good. The head is on the wrong end. He says, those are for the other side of the house. Two girls are sitting on a bus bench, Minneapolis, middle of the summer. Got their flip-flops on, sitting on the bench, dangling their feet, chewing gum, talking a little bit to each other, waiting for the bus. The one girlfriend says, you know, I've been thinking about it, I've been worrying about it, I can't figure it out. Which is closer, the moon or Florida? Girlfriend says, duh, can you see Florida? Jokes. Okay, this woman's driving down 35W, and she's going about 75 miles an hour. The speed limit is 55. Police car pulls up beside her, rolls down the window. He's got that bullhorn. He says, and while she's driving along, she's knitting. She's knitting with knitting needles. He pulls down the window and he says, pull over. She says, no, it's a cardigan. You're very kind. I messed that up pretty bad. I have no idea what I'm talking about now. I told a story, last summer was the last time I got up on any stage at all because I was invited by the Monday Night Comedy Show. Let's have a hand for the Monday Night Comedy Show. They've done a tremendous thing for comedians in the Twin Cities, including me. And I got to go on a little show at the Nano Taco studio, and I was making up what I was saying there too. I can't do it anymore, And I just got to talking about the time that I did a show for an audience that was actually smaller than this one. And but to get to the show, I had to drive up to Devil's Lake, North Dakota. Have you been to Devil's Lake before? Have you? Yeah. It's quite a ways away. I mean, it's a long drive. I mean, it's about the same distance as from Minneapolis to Chicago, except when you get there, you're in Devil's Lake. And when I got there, I went to a motel. I actually had a contract to do the show. Not like this one, when all you really get is a little message on your Facebook from Jason that says, would you like to do a comedy show? And you're right back, yeah. And then you're booked. But in those old days, they would write it out on paper and how much you were to be paid and where you would stay and what you would do and where the show would be. So I had this contract that said the show will be at this Ding-a-ling Motel, and it will be in Devil's Lake. So I drove and got up there, and I walked into the motel, and the desk clerk was there, and he says, oh, may I help you? And I said, yeah, I'm Dean Johnson. I'm here to do the comedy show tonight. He says, oh, where's there a show in town? I said, well, according to the contract, it's here. He said, no, there's no comedy show here. We're not having a show here. I said, well, it says so on the contract. He says, well, I don't know. What are you going to do? I said, well, I guess I'm going to lie down on the floor here. Because I'm pretty tired from driving. And he says, well, all right, we'll have a show. And he said, well, we'll do it. And for promotion for the show, he took those plastic letters that go on the sign under where it says, "Welcome Kiwanis." He writes, "Comedy show, bar room, 9 o'clock." 9 o'clock, I went down to the bar room, took my little ukulele and set it down. And then I went over and talked to the bartender. We're the only two people in the room. Well, it got to be 9 o'clock, and I said, well, I suppose we should just wait a while and see if somebody comes for this show. He says, well, we'd like to start on time. I said, well, there's nobody here, you know, it's supposed to be a comedy show. I mean, if I just tell the jokes to the wall, then, you know, there won't be any laughs. He says, well, you want to get paid, don't you? I said, good evening. Did the show for the bartender. Yeah. Whoa, should we have a little blues?
Yeah.
Blues music. See, I'm COVID safe on this harmonica. A little blues music. Well, I woke up this morning. That was my first mistake. Oh, I woke up this morning, rolled out of bed. That was my next mistake. You know I've had the blues all day long, yeah, 'cause I just can't catch a break. Oh yeah. Oh, you're very kind. I'm so disorganized. Got a cowboy song. How about a cowboy song? You like a cowboy song? That's how you know it's a cowboy. Rye whiskey, rye whiskey, rye whiskey, I cry. If I don't get rye whiskey, I surely will die. Her parents don't like me, they say I'm too poor. They told me never darken their door. If her parents don't like me, my money's my own. Damn, I don't like me, can leave me alone. Well, you know, in this life, some of us are in the fast lane, some are in the slow lane. I'm on the frontage road. Done everything done. Ate a Dove bar, should have left that thing in the soap dish. I got my mother-in-law tickets for the Titanic, and then I found out it was a movie. Who's back there? Is that Andy?
No, I'm Tim.
Oh, Tim. Well, hi, Tim.
Hi, Dean.
Come on up. Say hello to everybody. Tim has
Hi.
been looking great. You're looking good.
Thank you very much. I was told I was fly.
Anybody else need any attention? Thanks, Tim. Ed Sullivan used to do that. You probably don't really remember the Ed Sullivan Show, but you've seen pictures of the Beatles that show that over. Ed Sullivan used to introduce all the acts on the show, and then he would come out and he would talk about the show, but then he'd say, tonight on our show, we have Eddie Foy, Myrna Loy, the Bowery Boys, and out in our audience tonight, Nancy Sinatra. And they'd just get a, say hello to your dad for us. And now, that's what he did. He could fill a lot of time with that. Just like I just did. We should stop calling this comedy and just call it filling time. Where was I? Oh, yeah. Everybody sing along with me. No, most people won't do it. See me later. I want to make a recording. I have wanted to. Ever since years ago, Michael Jackson made that album Bad. I figure I'll make one lousy. If the ocean was whiskey and I was a duck, I played Jack of Diamonds and trust to my luck. Well, the ocean ain't whiskey, I ain't no duck. Ooh, ah, I've got a lot of luck. Yeah, all right. Well, somehow there's a clock up here and it's turned all to zeros. I guess that must mean I'm done, right? Is that
Yeah, theoretically, yes.
theoretically? Now, who are you?
I'm still Tim.
Oh, I can't. That's how much I can see. Well, Tim, come on. Who else is over here?
Salsa's over here.
I'm over here.
Sauls?
Salsa.
Salsa, come on out here. Let's have a hand for Tim and Salsa. They have to stand back there and listen to all this crap. Well, just like you do, actually, isn't it? Well, I thank you very much. It meant a lot to me to be invited to be here, and I'm very happy to, if that did any good for the Fearless Comedy Productions, because I ain't fearless, you can tell. I'm scared to death. But it was very nice to be here, and thank you, Tim and Salsa and Jason and everybody. It was real fun. Thanks.
All right, Dean Johnson, everyone. That's great. Thank you, Dean.